So we're continuing with the book Wabil al-Sayyib wa Raf al-Kalim al-Tayyib by Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyyati. The book Invocations of God could be translated as Invocations of God or The Showering of Good Utterances, a book that speaks about dhikr and its benefits. And we have reached the 40th benefit. We have reached the 40th benefit. We stopped at a portion of the 39th benefit. But we reached the 40th benefit, inshallah ta'ala. So, just to recap on the 39th benefit, we said that the 39th benefit, where Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah ta'ala says, أَنَّ الذِّكْرَ يَجْمَعَ الْمُتَفَرِّقَ وَيُفَرِّقُ الْمُجْتَمِعَ. Basically, that he brings that which is dispersed together and takes that which has been joined and disperses that. So what were we talking about? Where Ibn Qayyim was mentioning later, he says, وَيُفَرِّقُ أَيْضًا مَا اجْتَمَعَ عَلَيْهِ مِنْ ذُنُوبِهِ وَخَطَايَاهُ وَأَوْزَارَهُ. So he disperses that which has all come and collectively in the heart from the sins and the mistakes. يُفَرِّقُهُ. So he will separate it. So he will make it something that is not piling on you. So when you think of your sins, you think of it too much, and it can cause stress, and it can lead to despair. But the dhikr is that which will break it up eventually to where you will remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You won't feel so guilty, but you will call on Him and do the actions that Allah wants you to do, to where you will reach a point to where you'll start to remember more of your shortcomings, for example. And you'll remember that shortcoming, you'll ask for forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and continue on so forth. And he also said the opposite, to where it will, as he mentioned, يُفَرِّقُ أَيْضًا مَا اجْتَمَعَ عَلَيْهِ مِنْ حَرْبِهِ عِنْدَ الشَّيْطَانِ يفرق ما اجتمع عليه أو وأما تقريب البعيد فإنه يقرب إليه الآخرة التي يبعدها منه الشيطان والأمن. So he mentions also is that he brings that which is further away from you closer to you. So the things that were further away from you in your mind or in your remembrance, he brings that closer to you from the influences of shaitan and also from the forces of the devil that try to take you away from the remembrance of Allah. So that was what he mentioned as the 39th benefit. وقال رحمه الله تعالى الأربعون أن الذكر ينبه القلب من نومه ويوقظه من سنته. He said that verily dhikr, remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is that it brings attention to the heart from its sleep, or awakens the heart from its sleep. And he actually says ويوقظه من سنته. And it awakens the heart from sinna. What is sinna? What is sinna? Yes, drowsiness. Nu'as. No. Nu'as. لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم. Who is Allah talking about in this verse? Ayatul Kursi. Huh? Himself. No, himself. He's talking about himself. Let ta'khudhu. Say, why do you think he mentions sinatun wala nawm? Drowsiness nor sleep. Yeah, human attributes. But he said sinna as well. He could have just said la ta'khudhu nawm. La ya'khudhu nawm. No. No, he says sinna is the latter form. So Allah is showing you that there is no there's no proximity of Him to creation. To the degree He is not even taken by drowsiness. Because drowsiness can be an expression of what? Tiredness can be an expression of what? Imperfection. He said stress. How? How?
If somebody has too much stress, he might feel like too much pressure, tension, stress. He might feel drowsy.
Don't get enough sleep. And someone said something over here. What was mentioned? Weakness. What's the weakness? Wajh al-da'af, yani. What's the weakness here? Okay, how? A physician is speaking. He said weakness, so you got to explain. Yeah. Your strength runs out. Right. And your strength is reliant on what? After Allah. Yes. Get a little technical with this, physician. So it's our strength, right? Get us ready for Ramadan, yani. Okay. So if someone most likely didn't take any form of what for suhoor, they may be weak during the day. We have any nutritionists here as well? Food. Oh, another physician. The other physician spoke out. What did you say, Sheikh Imran? What did you say? Food. Food. Right. And you know what's so interesting about food? This is going to sound very basic, but there are nutrients in food that are not in human beings. And the best way to obtain these nutrients is from food. It's from food. This is another form of His rizq. Or we like to say organic food, but it's the food that Allah has created and it's untouched. That food has so many nutrients in it that we're supposed to eat originally, but because we eat processed food, or we take from that pure food with rich nutrients, and we tamper with the soil of the food, as we hear in America with Monsanto, if you ever heard of them, they tamper with the seeds of the food, the seeds of the vegetation of the agriculture. It tampers with the actual plant that you're eating, or you take the plant and you boil it or adulterate it. That can yaslub al-fawaid. It can take away some of the fawaid, the benefits of the food, from the nutrients, from the vitamins and the minerals that Allah has placed naturally in there that we naturally need to be quote unquote healthy. And I don't know if you noticed this, by the way. I don't know if I'm speaking like a conspiracy theory. I don't know. Is there a rise in cancer around the world? Subhanallah. I don't know. I'm just going to leave it there. All right, طيب. So Ibn al-Qayyim just says, أَنَّ الذِّكْرَ يُنَبِّهُ الْقَلْبِ مِنْ نَوْمِهِ. So when we talked about naum, sina, and he says, and it awakens it from drowsiness. His drowsiness and this naum is a sign of weakness, and the weakness is that there's a lack of energy, and we only have a limited amount of energy, and that energy, in order to obtain that energy, that you will need something that Allah has created for us to sustain ourselves, bi'idhnillah, which is food, etc. Therefore, all of this showing need. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what's a name that shows that He is not in need? What's the name of Allah that shows He is free of any type of need? Ghani, exactly. Anything else? Samad, very comprehensive name, right? What else? Really, if you think of a good amount of names of Allah, Ar-Razaq, right? What is Ar-Razaq? Provider. Does He need any assistance in helping you and providing for you? He doesn't need, right? As-Sami'. What is As-Sami'? What is As-Sami'? Hamza, what is As-Sami'? You're not going to just chill, huh? As-Sami'. Harun. Sami'a Allahu liman hamida. Sami'a Allah what? All hearing. Does He need any type of device or any type of waves or anything in the air to amplify the hearing of His creation, or for Him to hear us? Does it need to be a certain time of the day? Right? Does Allah need the last third of the night to hear us better? Huh? Because He said He answers the dua in certain times, so maybe He needs those times in order to hear us better. Yumkin. Maybe? No, right. So we look at any of the names of Allah, there is a way we can express the lack of need of that particular attribute. Now, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying here that the dhikr, yunabbihul qalb, it awakens the heart. Min nawmihi. What is an example of the heart that is asleep? Give me an example. What do you say min nawmihi? The heart that's asleep. Yunabbihul qalb min nawmihi.
I think that it is al-ghafla.
What is ghafla?
And he forgot to remember Allah and maybe make mistakes.
Okay. Because ghafla is negligence. So the negligence of the heart could be manifested how? By the human being. When someone is negligent of God and remembrance of God, what are some of the things that they may do or think? Or even believe?
Sins.
Such as?
Some things that are not appropriate for young children. There's a hadith about it, right?
What?
When the person sins, some kind of sin, they're not a mu'min in that moment.
Oh, no. No. But give me some, like, I want to bring some real life examples that are PG, that are G rated. Not praying.
Example of Muslim is not praying, not offering our religious obligations.
What's an example of at work? If you're at work and your heart is totally asleep from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from the remembrance of Allah, what's one thing that one may do at work? Not praying on time, neglecting prayer because they're afraid of what? What people will see, people will say. Like, what's an example at school? Not saying salam. Why wouldn't someone say salam to another Muslim at school? They don't want to be embarrassed by the non-Muslims. What else? Huh? Why wouldn't another Muslim say salam to another Muslim at school? Why? They don't want to be called Muslim, right? Well, that Muslim is not, they're not cool, right? Or at the masjid we do this. Outside we don't. You know. That was actually said to me one time when I was a new Muslim. I said, "Assalamu alaikum, brother." He's like, "At the masjid." Wallah, I was, what? This is the department store. "Assalamu alaikum." Oh, new Muslim. I was like, "Assalamu alaikum, brother." He's like, "At the masjid." Wallah, I love him. May Allah forgive us. May Allah forgive us. No. قال ابن القيم رحمه الله فإذا استيقظ وعلم ما فاته من نوم في نومته شد مئزرة. He says, so if the heart was to awaken and know what has surpassed it or what has passed it due to its sleep, due to its negligence, يعني sleep negligence غفلة يعني أو أعمق من ذلك شد مئزرة, then it starts to collect itself. Right? So you think of a sin that you're driving home from work at Salat al-Asr and you're like, I did not pray Lord and I had the opportunity. Astaghfirullah. Astaghfirullah. Right? You mention the name of Allah and then you look on your Google Maps or you know that you're about to pass ICC on the way home. You stop at ICC and you pray Lord before Asr, or Lord before Asr comes in. Right? You do that because by the time you may reach home, there's traffic, it's going to be Asr. You look on your maps, you're on I-35, you say, where's the nearest masjid? If I don't find the nearest masjid, I may even what? Pull over, go to a parking lot at an office building area and go pray. And go pray. No. This is the heart is awakened because you said, Astaghfirullah, you remembered Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You listened to a lecture or something and something reminded you about Allah. Because at that moment when you remember that you didn't pray the Lord because you didn't want to or afraid or whatever, you have a choice at that moment. And the dhikr of Allah is what will enrich the heart and bring it closer to. And that's where he says, فَإِذَا اسْتَيْقَظَ وَعَلِمَ مَا فَاتُهُ. And he knows what passed him, what surpassed him. شَدَّ مِئْزَرَةً. شَدَّ مِئْزَرَةً is like the garment. شَدَّ مِئْزَرَةً is like to pull it up and to wrap it. You know, say, okay, he tightens up. More active, no. وَأَحْيَا بَقِيَّةَ عُمْرِهِ. And he brings the rest of his life. He revives what's left of his or her life. وَاسْتَدْرَكَ مَا فَاتَهُ. And recovers what it has missed. Recovers in what it has missed. وَذَلِكَ أَنَّ الْعَبْدَ إِذَا لَمْ يَسْتَيْقِظْ لَمْ يُمْكِنُهُ قَطْعُ مَنَازِلَ السَّيْرِ. He said, and due to this is because if the servant does not wake up, لَمْ يُمْكِنْهُ قَطْعُ مَنَازِلَ السَّيْرِ. It is impossible for him to go on this path, to tread this path, or to continue on this path. وَلَا يَسْتَيْقِظُ إِلَّا بِالذِّكْرِ. And he will not awaken, or she will not awaken except with dhikr. كَمَا تَقَدَّمْ. As we have mentioned before. And then he mentions his last benefit. He says, وَالثَّانِيَةُ وَالْأَرْبَعُونَ أَنَّ الذَّاكِرَ قَرِيبٌ مِّن مَذْكُورِهِ وَمَذْكُورُهُ مَعَهُ. وهذه المعية معية خاصة غير معية العلم والإحاطة العامة. And we will continue with this one next week, inshallah. But he says here that the one that remembers Allah is close to the one that he is remembering. Yani Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The one that is remembered. Basically, the one that says the name of Allah is a means for them coming closer to him. وَالْمَذْكُورُهُ مَعَهُ. And the one that is mentioned is with him. وهذه المعية معية خاصة غير معية العلم والإحاطة المعامة. He said, and this type of withness, like Allah is with you, is a special type of witness that Allah is with you, other than the accompany, I don't want to say accompanying, but the witness that some English will say, the witness of knowledge and general presence. This is a different type of ma'iyah. Ma'a means with. Ma'iyah means the fact of being with, or the state of being with. That Allah is with you in a special type of way. You know, because when we say Allah is with us bi'ilmihi, as many scholars mentioned, with his knowledge and with his presence. So we'll stop there inshallah, but that's what the dhikr, it basically brings that consciousness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's presence with you in your mind and ultimately in your heart. As he mentioned before, it awakens the heart, and when it awakens the heart, that hopefully will bring forth actions that are fruitful to leave something that they should be doing, or to do something that they should be doing for their benefit. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us of al-dhakirin al-shakirin ya rabbil alameen. Wa tub alayna innaka anta tawwab rahim. Oh Allah, make us of those that are thankful and those that remember you ya rabbil alameen. Oh Allah, forgive us for any of our shortcomings ya rabbil alameen. Al-qawi al-aziz, oh the Almighty, send your might upon those that need your help from the weak around the world. Ya Rabbil Alameen, and forgive them for their shortcomings and increase them in their darajat, in their levels in this life and in the next life. Wa sallallahu wa sallam wa barak ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in.